Hey guys, Tim with Western Colloid here. Today we're going to talk to you about our wand and how we spray, how we actually apply the emulsion. If you take a look here, we just got brass fittings, pipe fittings, 1/4 inch, and that's it. We don't use V-jet tips. That was something we used to do in the old days, but now we just spray out of these 1/4 inch pipe fittings and they make a beautiful pattern. We like these aluminum wands. They're lightweight. We like a little key handle on it, gives you a lot of control. We also like a live swivel. It gives you the ability to take out a kink in your hose. Just makes it a whole lot easier on your crew. So we really recommend that your hoses are set up with live swivels. This is after the fact live swivel. If you purchase a hose with a live swivel, it's cheaper and even smaller. It's lighter, so it's a better way to go about it. Then all we use is just a 1/2 inch ball valve. Little handle, on and off, very simple. Not much to this, but the real key is how light it is. It's very lightweight, easy to maneuver, to move around things up on the roof and apply your emulsion. What I'm doing, if you look, I got my wand pointed away from that outside edge. So you can see all my splatter is going back up onto the roof and not over the edge. So I got to bend over a little bit. It's for a short section. Not real difficult.
It's worth pointing out that what you're seeing here is this roof has one rough area where rock had been put down into a ponding area. We're putting a little bit more emulsion in that area. The standard spec for a Western Colloid fluid applied roof system is going to be 6 gallons per 100 square feet. That goes out to about 95 to 100 wet mils. You can kind of see it puddling up there. The reason he paused a bit and is moving faster down the line now than he was before is because he stopped to put a little bit more in what was a rougher area. That way we wouldn't experience any bridging in that area. Here we go. See that broom technique? Now it's important to point out what Tim's doing on the wand back there. He was laying a bead of emulsion down at the 3-inch lap mark of the polyester. As I said earlier, we want as much white of the polyester showing as we can. There we go. Nice example of a good 6 gallon per square application.
We created this adapter that just screws on. You take the other 1/4 inch brass. This one again is made out of aluminum. It goes on, and then where we would use this, guys, is over on a edge where we have no parapet wall at all. So with this adapter, I keep every bit of the emulsion on the roof. I don't get anything that splatters over the side.
So right here we're using our sprayless adapter, and as you can see, it still requires a little bit of work, but if you have some cars down below or a nice sidewalk, or you're working next to a courtyard that you don't want to get dirty, this is a great way to minimize risk with the overspray.
We just get a nice even flow of emulsion to come out of this, and it eliminates the possibility of getting anything dirty. The bottom line is, when you're putting down our system, The fastest way you can put down my system is have this valve open more. The more this valve is open, that's the faster you go.
Doesn't matter how, we're not trying to get real close to this pipe. What that does is don't try to cut your fingers in it now. We want to make a nice open area where we're going to go back and three-course that. We're just working on speed right now when we're doing these field glides. Got it around my pipe. Rolling out. Again, fixing these wrinkles as we go so we're not having to come back and repair them later. Close to another pipe, so I'm going to cut, not focusing on getting too close to this pipe. Cut it around this, give it a nice little pull, fixing my wrinkles as I go. Nice wide area here. Not trying to get super close to this pipe. It's going to create more problems for you in the long run, having to come back and try to fix dry emulsion and polyester for the proper three-course.
Okay guys, so we're gonna fly this roll in. Oh, we got a little wall support here. But one of the things I like to do is flip this sheet over. Gives me a little bit of room to step in here so we get this thing set nice and straight. David's gonna look for his line. He's gonna lap the lap line on the outside edge of that previous sheet. So guys, I do this. I can wipe a little emulsion where I stepped. I can fold this back. David, pull it a little bit. Good.
Show us a nice fly. Yeah, baby, yeah. You can have extra guys that can be on another section of the roof doing prep work, doing repair work, even blowing, sweeping, prepping a whole other section. Another nice example. Exactly. And we move backwards. You can see the guy on the roll. He's doing everything he can not to step in the emulsion, not to displace any of the waterproofing. That's not always going to be possible, but you want to do that as much as you can. Boom. Gives it a quick tug to tighten it up. All right, here's Tim Ford, our Chief Technical Advisor.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you about, I see a lot of guys setting multiple rolls, which is a great thing if you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. But the bottom line is, when you're putting down our system, the fastest way you can put down my system is have this valve open more. The more this valve is open, that's the faster you go. So there are times when it makes sense to make multiple roll sets, but they got to be big roofs. You got to have enough room to let you make a good 80, 90-foot run minimum before you start worrying about setting your next run. So if I'm worried about 80 or 90 and my roof's only 120 feet long, I'm not setting multiple runs. I typically set multiple runs a lot of times when I got a really big roof and I'm gonna run the whole roll out and more. And there can be times where, you know, it's a big roof and you go the 90, 100 feet and then you fall back and set your other one.
basically three basic ways to use the broom. Either you can push it, which you can see basically moves all of the emulsion, right? It leaves almost nothing behind. You can pull it, which leaves a little bit less, but still manipulates the majority of the emulsion into a pile to where you finish. If you want to leave a nice 100 mils of wet product behind, and you're doing what we're doing here, oftentimes the best way is to hold the broom backwards, and I'm actually taking a little bit of pressure off of this broom. I'm actually kind of holding it up in the air a little bit as I'm walking, and with that, I can manipulate the products and end with very little at the end. So again, push it. Sometimes you need to push out a wrinkle. Sometimes you need to for whatever reason, okay? So this is one means of doing it. But if you do that, you're applying a lot of pressure. You can pull it, but again, not quite as much pressure as pushing, but you're gonna take quite a bit of the product. If you wanna leave the product behind and you just wanna smooth it out, try turning your broom backwards, and it's actually really easy to manipulate the emulsion with the broom pointed backwards. And I can see that there's a cut been made around it. When you go to broom around a cut area, the corner of this is going to be very susceptible to getting pulled back. So I do not want to pull this back towards the sheet away, because it'll look like that. And this is, now I have to bend down, smooth it back out. What you want to do when you come to an end like this is finish at the corner. So I'm going to pull through the sheet, and then I'm going to pull it out away. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to come this way and pull it out away. If you push, I got a little wrinkle here I just saw, so I'm going to give it a little more tug and pull it out away, okay? Another thing. If you leave this thing like this and let it dry, I promise you this is a lot more work on the back end after all that asphalt's dry and you got polyester mixed in with it. It is not an easy cut to go in and repair this later. You are going to be much better off taking the 5 seconds it takes to bend down and pull something like this out now while it's wet. Pull a broom through it, and boom, this is nice and flat, fully adhered to the roof, and we can stack more stuff on top very easily. If you leave sheets looking like that, that's something you're gonna have to fix, and I promise you, instead of using the inexpensive emulsion that's easy to work with, you're gonna be using the much more expensive 800 mastic, which is also easy to work with, but why? Why not just do it right the first time? Hey, we're gonna continue putting flies on here. But this is an opportunity. I wanted to show you, if you end up with an edge like this, where I have some kind of built up emulsion, if you look right here, there's actually like a whole pile of emulsion. If you're gonna go to break, if you're done for the day and you have an edge that looks like this, make sure that you train your broomers to clean this. Just all you have to do is just lightly drag a broom through the piles of emulsion, and the broom will do the work for you. It'll smooth out really nice. I got a little pile right here. I'm just gonna drag the broom through it. And now it's all nice and smooth. When this
Boom, nice.
I cannot stress enough how important it is that you pull these wrinkles out prior to pulling the broom through. If you come through with the broom without pulling the wrinkle out, there's an excellent chance that you make that wrinkle permanent. And now from this point, we have air in our sheet, and that's something we're gonna have to come back and cut out with utility knives. We're gonna have to repair it with mastic, and it's a lot more work. You're taking a 15-second job and turning it into a 10-minute job. So when there are a little bit of inconsistencies in the sheet, do the best you can to pull them out by hand, or sometimes you can just pull them with your foot and get those wrinkles out. If I have a little extra slack, like right here, I can turn to my buddy who has the roll and I can ask him, hey, will you give it a pull for me? I have a little extra material. Hey David, will you give it a pull? And the wrinkles just disappear. Again, you're a team.
When it comes to the actual application, 4 guys is all you need. You can see how quick and easy a polyester can be applied with a guy that knows how to use a broom. No reason to be going back and forth, no reason to be putting your shoulder, your back into it. In fact, we don't want you to do that. The goal at the end of this is to have as much white of the polyester showing on top of the emulsion as possible. This will give the final acrylic coat something to bond to. Another nice example. Exactly. And we move backwards. You can see the guy on the roll is doing everything he can not to step in the emulsion, not to displace any of the waterproofing. That's not always going to be possible, but you want to do that as much as you can. Boom. Gives it a quick tug to tighten it up.
Hey guys, Chris with Western Colloid, just popping in again. I wanted to point out, we're just going to show you some video. This is an area, this isn't the worst of the worst, but this is an area that is a little busier. It's got some pipes, got some units, ductwork, things you got to hop over. You're not able to just fly back and forth. You know, you go 3 or 4 feet and you hit an obstruction. And then you go another 3 feet and you hit an obstruction. You're constantly lifting pipes. And so I want to demonstrate the importance of working as a team, you know, your entire unit. So a lot of times, especially during production phases of roof, when I'm referring to wide open spaces, when you're really putting a lot of squares down in a short period of time, you know, everyone has a specific role. There's a sprayer, a broomer, a roller, generally a guy pulling the hose. And but in these types of situations, when you get busy, it's really important to remember that everybody is a team. There's not any one job that you're married to, right? So everyone has to help lift up the pipes. Everyone has to help make cuts. Everybody has to help, you know, spread rolls, push brooms, and it takes a team to get through these busier areas. You know, you have to work together and help each other out. It's much easier for one guy to hold a pipe up while the other guy moves a roll through than it is for one guy to have to do both jobs. So occasionally you trade off. You know, you might have been brooming all day, but right now you're making cuts or you're helping with the hose. You know, in these types of spots, getting in and out of them is tough because you're dragging a hose everywhere you go, right? You're attached to a leash basically. So sometimes you need some help to get the hose out of the way. But the big thing is remember that you're a team. You're working together.
Hey guys, Tim with Western Colloid. Just want to say thanks for viewing some of our videos. Hopefully they've been useful to you. And be sure to visit us at westerncolloid.com. Reach out to any of our reps. Names are listed on the website. So take advantage of what we have to offer for you. Thanks.